Hello and welcome. Good evening. You're joining us live here on India Today as we continue our non-stop coverage of the budget presentation by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Over the next few hours, we're going to be breaking down the highlights, the takeaways, the reactions and much more. But we begin with the big breaking news that's coming in. It's been bloodbath in Dalal Street today. The market giving a thumbs down to Budget 2026. We saw Sensex tumbling down by over 1,500 points. Nifty too reacting in a similar manner. And now we've got details of what the government has had to say about the negative reaction in the stock market. They've attributed it to the increase in STT on futures and options, which is what all experts also are saying, that it was the one decision that led to the markets reacting. But sources also highlighting to us that the government chose to do so because they want to discourage F&O trading, futures and options trading, which is why they've chosen to go ahead and increase the STT. But the government says they're confident that the market situation will stabilize very, very soon. They believe that this is a temporary reaction. I want to bring in Aishwarya Paliwal for more details on this. Aishwarya, the messaging from the government is that they kind of saw this coming. The bloodbath on D Street, keeping in mind the fact that they wanted this reform to be pushed in. They want to discourage F&O.
Well, definitely, Akshita, we have seen how over the past few months, there have been certain days when the markets have seen too much volatility. As a result, those people, those who have not been investing a lot, but actually have been investing over the past few years, they are the ones who have been suffering a lot. The government really wants to discourage this. They also believe that those who have large portfolios, they are the ones who actually can save themselves, but those who invest in small amounts, they are the ones who are at high risk, and that's the reason why we are seeing government now coming out with that. In fact, just a couple of minutes ago, it was the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman very, very clearly spelling it out that the government was very keenly looking at what was happening in the markets. They also did an evaluation of the amount of money that was being lost and the number of people who were being affected by it. So to safeguard those people and to make markets more secure, this is the step that the government has taken.
And the government believes that while we're seeing this kind of a reaction in the markets today, it will stabilize very, very soon. So we'll have to see if that actually happens come tomorrow. Thanks, Aishwarya, for joining us with those details. If you missed out on the budget presentation and what really we're talking about here, about the impact on markets, remember this is the STT, the Securities Transaction Tax. It's a direct tax imposed on the buying and selling of securities in India. And it's one particular aspect of F&O's futures and options that we've seen the STT being hiked on. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announcing that hike today in the budget speech is what triggered an immediate reaction from the markets. The decision didn't go down well with the markets, and indices Nifty and Sensex, their impact was seen as both plunged. We get you details of how the market reacted first in this report.
The stock markets gave the budget a thumbs down. Both the BSE Sensex and the NSE Nifty ended nearly 2% down. The Sensex closed at 80,722.94 points and the Nifty at 24,825.45 points. The markets went on a roller coaster ride after Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced a hike in the Securities Transaction Tax. The STT for futures trade has been raised to 0.05% from 0.02%. For options trading, the hike is from 0.01% to 0.15%.
I propose to raise the STT on futures to 0.05% from the present 0.02%. STT on options premium and exercise of options are both proposed to be raised to 0.15% from the present rate of 0.1% and 0.125% respectively.
The government will also tax buyback proceeds for all types of shareholders as capital gains. The government said that the increase in STT is only in futures and options and that it aims to curb excessive short-term speculation that results in losses to ordinary investors.
The primary objective of raising the tax rates on STT has been that it is meant to essentially handle the systemic risk in derivative markets. Even after this increase, however, the rates of STT will remain modest compared to the volume of the transactions that is happening there.
Bureau Report, India Today.
Formation, approximately 30%, and the reluctance of the private sector to invest it. 5, the uncertain outlook for flow of FDI into India and the persistent outflow of FPI for the last several months. 6, the agonizingly slow pace of fiscal consolidation and the continued high fiscal deficit and revenue deficit contrary to the FRBM. 7, the persistent gap between officially announced inflation numbers and the ground reality in terms of bills for household expenditure, education, healthcare, and transport. 8, the closure of lakhs of MSMEs and the struggle to survive of the remaining MSMEs. 9, the precarious employment situation, especially youth unemployment. 10, growing urbanization and the deteriorating infrastructure in urban areas, municipalities and corporations. Now there are many more. For example, the depreciation of the rupee. None of this was addressed by the Finance Minister today. None, not one of the challenges were addressed by the Finance Minister. It was therefore not surprising that the applause was perfunctory and most of the audience tuned out in quick time. In fact, I noticed that the telecast by Sansad TV switched off a few times. Even by an accountant's standards, it was a poor account of the management of the finances in 2025-26. Revenue receipts were shot by rupees 78,086 crore. Total expenditure was shot by rupees 1,503 crore. Revenue expenditure was shot by rupees 75,168 crore. And capital expenditure was cut by 1,44,376 crore. This is between the center and the states. Not a word to explain this miserable performance in revenue and expenditure. Actually, the center's capital expenditure has fallen from 3.2% of GDP in 24-25 to 3.1% in 25-26. Capital expenditure has actually fallen in the year that concluded. In revenue expenditure, the cuts have fallen in heads that concern the common people. I'm giving you some examples. Rural development, 53,067 crore is a cut. Urban development, rupees 39,573 crore. Social welfare, rupees 9,999 crore. Agriculture, rupees 6,985 crore. Education, rupees 6,701 crore. Health, rupees 3,686 crore. Funds have been cut in crucial sectors and programs. Expenditure on the much vaunted Jal Jeevan mission, you can't believe this number, was cruelly cut from 67,000 crore to a mere
Okay, you just heard there the Congress raising objections to the budget, saying that what's the ground reality versus the issues that were raised. None of it was addressed is their contention. But let's get you more breaking news coming in. A reaction from Prime Minister Modi, who's hailed the budget 2026, saying that this budget empowers the poor, the farmers, the youth and women. Prime Minister Modi highlighting how the budget is focused particularly on Atmanirbhar Bharat, on a self-reliant India, and also on the other big pitch of Make in India. So he said that the budget that's been presented earlier today by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman focused largely on these two aspects of Atmanirbharta and Make in India, and giving an active push to these two campaigns by the government. He's also highlighted that this is a budget that focuses on empowering youth, which in fact Nirmala Sitharaman had said when she said that this is a Yuva Shakti budget. He's highlighted how it empowers the poor, the farmers as well as women. Just to highlight really on the issue of Nari Shakti, which is something that the government constantly speaks of. You had the Finance Minister also highlighting steps being taken to help women entrepreneurs, to help them in not just funding but in other steps as well. Also speaking about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, you had the step being taken by the government of announcing one girls' hostel in every district now of the country. So those are just some of the steps that the government has taken, announced in this budget. Let's play out for you what the Prime Minister said.
हमारी सरकार ने गरीबों और मध्यम वर्ग को सस्ता और अच्छा इलाज देने में बहुत ध्यान दिया है। पिछले 11 सालों में बहुत सारी दवाएं सस्ती की गई है। गरीबों को और बुजुर्गों को मुफ्त इलाज की सुविधाएं दी गई है। इस बजट में इसी संवेदनशीलता के साथ और भी महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लिए गए हैं। कैंसर के इलाज को और सस्ता करने के लिए अनेक कैंसर दवाओं को और सस्ता किया गया है।
Okay, so that's the message from Prime Minister Modi on the budget. He's hailed it, saying that it's all about empowerment of several marginalized sections of society. But let's put the focus on exactly what Nirmala Sitharaman, the Finance Minister, announced today as part of the budget presentation. Remember, this is her record 9th budget. And on the surface, budget 2026-27 aims to speed up India's reform agenda as the nation marches towards its Vixit Bharat vision. So this was a budget, as the government put it, that puts the focus on 2047. But there are implications beyond the economy. We're talking of the politics behind it. Every single year, there's a lot of focus also on the budget and what it has to do with the elections that will be announced that year. It's always aligned. And so this time, remember that in just about 2 months from now, you're going to see 4 major states, 1 union territory head to the polls. Was there any specific announcement made for these states? Well, there was endless speculation that the government could take that extra step of wooing voters with special policy stops. We've seen it before. This time, however, that didn't happen. The budget does include some development initiatives in poll-bound states, but it stops short of appearing as direct election appeasement. So no sops. You had a whole lot of symbolism messaging, including the Finance Minister wearing a Kanjivaram Sari from poll-bound Tamil Nadu, but no big bang announcements, really. I'll break it down for you. Let's focus first on Tamil Nadu, one of the two southern states the BJP is yet to breach, one of the two southern states going to polls. Tamil Nadu has received the largest share of budget promises among all the poll-bound states, but that isn't to say that there's a huge amount to talk about. Rare earth corridors is something that's been announced, and that's something that benefits multiple states, including Tamil Nadu. There's also Kerala in that particular list. Under this initiative, the state will get support to set up dedicated corridors. This is for mining, processing, and manufacturing rare earth permanent magnets. It's vital for electronics and electric vehicle manufacturing. This hugely benefits the entire country, and for Tamil Nadu also, it's a huge step. There's also a major connectivity push. What am I talking about? High-speed rail corridors were announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, 7 of them. 2 of them will directly benefit Tamil Nadu. One of those high-speed rail corridors is from Hyderabad to Chennai, another connecting Bengaluru to Chennai. So you've got better connectivity among the southern cities. Now, besides that, another announcement for Tamil Nadu, fishermen in the state will get duty-free benefits for fish caught in an exclusive economic zone. And like West Bengal, which I'll talk about in a bit, in Tamil Nadu too, textile schemes will help, will boost the state's textile hubs. But there's already politics that's breaking out, because you've got the DMK, the Congress, criticizing the budget, saying even in an election year, even when the state is poll-bound, Tamil Nadu is not being given its due importance. Let's get you those reactions.
Very, very disappointing. And most of the states had requested for a devolution of funds of 50%, and again they've said only 41%. That is very, very disappointing for all the states. And there's nothing actually concrete in this budget, and even with the elections in mind, they have not announced anything for Tamil Nadu. They're not giving us anything, but then they want to mine rare earth from Tamil Nadu, and it's a very, very disappointing budget.
Union budget is pretty disappointing. We expect there will be a big ticket reforms visionary announcement, but that's seriously lacking. Not many big schemes for any of the ruling the election going states. That actually it's very clear that actually BJP thinks they will not win these elections, so they don't want to put any money into our pocket. And there is a mention of a rare earth mineral corridor in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. That is very deeply concerning to us. We do not want the BJP-friendly corporate come and loot our minerals.
I was expecting at least she would show some concern towards the viewers of the Kanjivaram side, but nothing has come out of the budget. In fact, the very mention of the, if you read the economic survey, it lays out a clear pathway. At least in that line, they could have announced something.
Let's get you the first statement coming in from Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin on Budget 2026. As expected, Chief Minister Stalin has criticized the budget, saying it's delivered an unprecedented disappointment. That's what he's termed the budget as. He says the welfare of Tamil Nadu has been completely ignored in the budget. Stalin has said it's condemnable that Tamil Nadu's share in union taxes has been reduced by approximately 1,200 crore rupees this year. So the DMK not happy. I'll bring in Pramod Madhav, who's joining us live from Chennai with more details on this. Multiple reactions that we've received, Pramod, of the DMK saying that they're disappointed by the budget, by the fact that there were no big bang announcements for Tamil Nadu. But what really were the expectations from the DMK, from the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, that's led to him calling this an unprecedented disappointment?
Well, Akshita, it's very important that even before the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman could even table the budget, the Chief Minister actually tweeted that there are a lot of necessary items for the state of Tamil Nadu, and he kind of criticized, claiming that along with initiating the talks with Tirukkural or very other using Tamil itself, just bring more programs for the state of Tamil Nadu, considering we have elections. And now, after the budget, he calls us as disappointment 3 times. Disappointment, disappointment, and disappointment, claiming that the first and foremost is issue is about tax devolution from 41% to 50%. That has not been fulfilled. He claims that close to 1,200 crores of tax has been cut as well, and important funds allocation for various programs that has been not provided. And the question about will the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan and various funds that are supposed to be released, that has not been answered. And this is why he claimed, the Chief Minister claims, that this budget has been a complete disappointment for the state of Tamil Nadu, Akshita.
All right, Pramod, thanks for all of those details. Let's focus on the other poll-bound state, the state of Kerala. The BJP is hoping for strong electoral gains. So were there any sort of allocations, big announcements for Kerala? Well, similar to Tamil Nadu, Kerala too will benefit from some of the same initiatives. The Rare Earth Corridor Initiative, for example, or Fishermen Steps. The union government has also promised support for coconut, cocoa and cashew farmers and plans to develop what's referred to as turtle trails along key nesting sites to boost ecotourism. These are trekking trails, essentially. The Congress, however, has criticized the centre, as has the left, saying the budget ignores the state's pressing needs. The focus largely has been, to some extent, on farming, on rare earth minerals, of course, and also, importantly, on tourism. Let's get you all of the reactions.
हम जो इंतजार कर रहे थे मेरे केरला में हम कुछ नहीं सुन पाए एक टर्टल ट्रेल के बारे में सुना उसके अलावा और रेयर अर्थ्स मैं भी कुछ समय से कह रहा था लेकिन उसके अलावा केरला के लिए कुछ नहीं सुनाई दिया एक ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंस में 15 साल से इंतजार कर रहे हैं कोई अनाउंसमेंट नहीं था ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ आयुर्वेदा की अनाउंसमेंट किया लेकिन नहीं बताया कि कहाँ क्यों नहीं केरला में बताना चाहिए था कोई जामनगर के बारे में कुछ बोला लेकिन केरला के बारे में
The budget has avoided Kerala, has been neglected. Kerala has been badly neglected. And when the special corridors, railway corridors have been announced also, Kerala has no mention. Not just that, whatever project has been announced, there is no financial clarity on what has been announced. What the allocation is has not been explained.
And a reaction coming in now from Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, who's accused the centre of discrimination. According to the Kerala Chief Minister, the government has forgotten the fact that Kerala is also on the map of India. This is essentially an attack by the Kerala Chief Minister to question why there hasn't been any sort of allocation for Kerala. Pinarayi Vijayan has said that the centre's move to seize Kerala's mineral wealth is extremely dangerous. Now, remember that there has been rare earth corridors, mineral corridors that have been announced by the government. This, according to the Kerala government, is an attempt to seize Kerala's mineral wealth. And so Pinarayi Vijayan says this is extremely dangerous. Pinarayi Vijayan has also said that the kind of announcements made in the budget is a policy that paves the way for private monopolies to mine in Kerala. Now, there have been several demands that the Kerala government put forth for an aims for high-speed corridors for railway development, a special package for Vijayan port development. The Kerala Chief Minister said that none of that has come through. All of that has been completely ignored.
അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ വളരെ നിരാശാജനകമാണ് ഇന്ത്യൻ എക്കണോമിയെ അത് നിരാശാജനകമായ അവസ്ഥയിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കുന്നു വ്യക്തമാവും. ഞാൻ പറയാൻ ആദ്യം ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ മാത്രം പ്രശ്നമല്ല, സംസ്ഥാനത്തിൻ്റെ കാര്യം മാത്രമല്ല, ഇന്ത്യയിലെ സാമ്പത്തിക രംഗത്ത് നല്ല മുന്നേറ്റം ഉണ്ടാവാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് എപ്പോഴും ശ്രമിക്കേണ്ടത് കേന്ദ്ര ഗവൺമെൻറ് നയങ്ങളിൽ കൂടിയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യൻ എക്കണോമിയിൽ ഇതെങ്ങനെ ബാധിക്കും? വാസ്തവത്തിൽ ഇന്ത്യൻ എക്കണോമിയിൽ ഒരു റിസഷൻ ട്രെൻഡാണ് എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ ആദ്യം ഇതിൻ്റെ ബഡ്ജറ്റ് അറ്റ് എ ഗ്ലാൻസ് എടുത്തിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ആദ്യ ഭാഗം നോക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ മനസ്സിലാവും. ബാക്കി കേരളത്തിലെ കാര്യത്തിലേക്ക് വരാം. കേരളത്തിനോട് ചെയ്യേണ്ട കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തില്ല, നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്ത കാര്യങ്ങളൊന്നും ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല എന്നുള്ള കാര്യമുണ്ട്.
Okay, I'll bring in Shibi Mol for more details on this. Shibi, while, several states, irrespective of the politics, have welcomed the fact that we're going to be seeing this kind of rare earth mineral corridor being set up across the country, in Kerala, the Chief Minister is saying that this is an attempt to loot the state of its resources.
Exactly, because the state government, what Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is saying is the state government had already announced in its budget that a mineral corridor would be established in the public sector by connecting regions like Vijayan, Chavara and Kollam and Kochi and Ernakulam. So, despite all that, the central government is now moving to hand over the mineral resource to private companies, is what Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan says. He says that, this is an attempt to ensure that the private monopolies enter into this field of mining. Because when it comes to Kerala's mining sector, it's always the government, the public sector that has always, held control. It's the projects announced by the government that's always taken over. But here the government is trying to bring in private corporates into this industry, and and that's a dangerous trend, is what Chief Minister highlights. And also, not just Chief Minister Pinarayi, even if you see the response of Congress MPs like K.C. Venugopal, the ICC General Secretary, it's also been the same. He also has gone on to say that we'll have to wait and see what are the details of this, rare earth mineral corridor, because we'll have to wait and see, considering that it might be to fatten the corporates and destroy the public sector in Kerala, because in Kerala, traditionally, it's been held by the public sector, the state government. So this is something that both the government as well as the Congress, the main opposition to the state, is pointing out, and likely to play out politically also in the coming days, with questions being raised to the BJP in the state also.
All right. Thanks, Shibi, for those details. And finally, the poll-bound state of West Bengal. What are the announcements made for Bengal? Well, in the budget, there has been a major infra push for the state. What are we talking about? Well, there's a new freight corridor linking Dhankuni to Surat, a high-speed rail corridor from Varanasi to Siliguri. In addition, there are some other initiatives, the Text Eco Initiative, Samarthi 2.0, all expected to focus on the textile sector. That helps, of course, parts of Bengal which are textile hubs. Now, besides this, the politics continues. The opposition has said they're not impressed at all with the announcements that have been made, with the TMC saying they expected a whole lot more. The budget has been labelled as visionless, as missionless. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has actually called it a Humpty Dumpty budget. She's saying it offers nothing at all for the state.
What they said about 3 corridor, that is absolutely a garbage of lies, blatant lies. It is already on process. They have not given a single paisa to Bengal. Only one tax is there, GST. They are taking away our money, are saying big talk. They are giving us money. It is our money. Now only one tax is there. What they are collecting from Bengal, they are not giving our food funds. We will get about more than 2 lakh crores from the central government. So they don't have any moral authority to run the government and to finish the country like this. They want to destroy the economic structure of the country.
यही बीजेपी का जो स्टेप मदरली एटीट्यूड है वो दर्शाता है। हम लोग तो ये 5 साल से कह रहे हैं, 2021 में बीजेपी हारने के बाद अगर ये सरकार दिखा पाए व्हाइट पेपर रिलीज करके कि बंगाल में 2021 में हारने के बाद एक आदमी को मनरेगा में एक जॉब कार्ड होल्डर को डायरेक्ट बैंक ट्रांसफर के द्वारा पैसा मिला है, तो मैं राजनीति छोड़ दूंगा। स्टेट मदरली ट्रीटमेंट और एटीट्यूड, बंगाल में आप हार रहे हो, इसलिए बंगाल के लोगों को सबक सिखाना है। लोकतंत्र में सबक जनता सिखाता है, राजनेता या राजनीतिक कोई पर्सनालिटी नहीं सिखाता है।
Okay, I'll bring in Indrajit Kundu for details really of what were the expectations, Indro, from the budget really for the people of Bengal. You know, you've got a whole lot of politics. Mamata Banerjee has called this, funnily enough, a Humpty Dumpty budget. But what were the TMC's demands really from the budget?
Well, not specifically from the budget itself, but the Trinamool Congress or the Mamata Banerjee government here has been quite vocal over the past several years now about impending dues of the state. As Mamata Banerjee just suggested in her reaction that the state government claims 2 lakh crore worth of funds that the central government owes to the state government. This is the claim that has been made by the West Bengal government, not today, but over several years right now. We've seen the Trinamool Congress leading delegation after delegation to various central government ministries. There have been protests that took place in New Delhi. There were dharnas here in Kolkata as well. So Trinamool Congress, in a sense, reiterating their position and then calling whatever little that have come Bengal's way, they're calling it too little and not consequential. She, of course, spoke about the freight corridor that connects Dankuni in Hooghly district with Surat in Gujarat. She's saying that this is an old project, something that she had, announced when she was the railway minister. And as far as the high-speed train corridor connecting Varanasi and Siliguri is concerned in North Bengal, that also seems to have not pleased many as far as the TMC government here in West Bengal is concerned. So they're saying it's a poll-bound state, but because the BJP has not been able to succeed electorally, therefore they are trying to give West Bengal a miss.
Well, unsurprisingly, it's a whole lot of politics over the budget in the poll-bound states. Thanks very much, Indra, for joining us with all of those details. So, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman just about an hour ago held a press conference, standard practice post the budget, where she has this press briefing. And there was a question asked about the criticism that's coming from the opposition that the budget did not do enough for poll-bound states. How did she respond to that? Listen in.
See, the industrial corridors are very critical for supply chains. We need a predictable mineral, rare earth and magnet related products to be made available for India's manufacturing. Whether it's lithium ion, whether it's automobile sector, whether it's the new age solar, you need these rare earths to be processed and be made available. We have enough raw materials. The coastal areas are rich in these minerals. And therefore, states also felt, I must credit that the interaction that I had with the finance ministers pre-budget, many states felt that there are rare earths which they can utilize. We then sat up in the budget group that we have, Revenue Secretary, DFL, Secretary DA, and thrashed out, talking with the states. What are the kind of things that we can do so that their capacities to extract these minerals, process them, make them something which the industry can benefit from. So India can be less dependent on imports of these materials. That is where, having spoken to states, we thought it's very important to recognize the corridor and give a policy for it so that industries can invest, private sector can come in, governments, state and center can come together on it. That is where these corridors were announced. And looking at the success of the defense corridor, I can confidently say these rare earth corridors will make that big a difference to the Indian economy. The first question, I think there's enough to cover all the election states. If I do, you will ask me, why have you done it only for the election states? Now I've done it for election and non-election states as well. You want me to spell out what has been done only for the election states? I'm quite happy to do it.
Okay, so that's Nirmala Sitharaman saying, why limit what I'm spelling out just to election states and not speak about non-election states, highlighting that the government doesn't discriminate based on when elections are scheduled in which state. But let's get you more reactions to the budget. Union ministers have been speaking out, hailing different aspects of the budget. Here are some of those highlights.
हर क्षेत्र को इसमें ध्यान दिया गया है। यहाँ तक कि एक वर्षों से हम सोचते थे कि कंटेनर भारत में क्यों नहीं बन सकते, जो कंटेनर में माल आयात निर्यात होता है। 10,000 करोड़ रुपए सिर्फ कंटेनर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को प्रोत्साहन देने का माननीय निर्मला जी ने घोषणा की है।
यह बजट भारत की पिछले 12 साल की सफर को मजबूती से संगठित करता है और विकसित भारत 2047 का भविष्य का निर्माण स्थापित करता है। और जहां एक मजबूती दी गई है हमारे अधोसंरचना के लिए, हमारे कैपेक्स के लिए, जहां ग्रोथ 7.5% तक पहुंच चुका है, महंगाई पर पूरी तरह से कंट्रोल 1.7% पिछले 9 महीने में, जो एक भारत का रिकॉर्ड रहा है। और वहीं फिस्कल डेफिसिट भी पूर्ण रूप से कंट्रोल में है। वहीं इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कैपेक्स में जो 2 लाख करोड़ होता था 2014-15 में, आज बढ़कर 11 लाख करोड़ हो गया है और अगले साल 12 लाख करोड़ तक हम लोग ले जाएंगे।
इस बजट को अगर आप देखिएगा तो आपको एहसास होगा कि किस तरीके से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे बल दिया गया है, रूरल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे बल दिया गया है, अर्बनाइजेशन के ऊपर जोर दिया गया है, गांव शहर की दूरी को कम करने का इसमें प्रयास किया गया है, आत्मनिर्भरता पे बल दिया गया है।
बहुत बड़ा फोकस दिया गया है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो, सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो और आईटी सर्विसेज के लिए बहुत एक सिग्निफिकेंट सिंप्लीफिकेशन किया गया है। आज बजट में एक नए डेडिकेटेड फ्रेट कॉरिडोर जो कि बंगाल में दांकुनी, वहाँ से गुजरात में सूरत, इसको जोड़ने वाला, ईस्ट को वेस्ट के साथ जोड़ने वाला नया DFC भी सैंक्शन हुआ है।
मैं मानता हूँ कि आज का बजट कोई पॉलिटिकल भाषणबाजी नहीं, बिल्कुल विकास और विकसित भारत के लिए रिफॉर्म एक्सप्रेस का बहुत अच्छा एक प्रदर्शित हमारा वित्त मंत्री जी ने किया है। मैं बहुत खुश हूँ।
आज का बजट ऐतिहासिक है, अभूतपूर्व है। ये बजट विकसित भारत के निर्माण का बजट है। ये बजट 2047 तक आत्मनिर्भर भारत के निर्माण के लिए मजबूत नींव डालने वाला बजट है।
पिछले बार बजट की साइज से इस बार की बजट की साइज एजुकेशन के लिए बढ़ी है। पिछले बार कुल 1,28,650 करोड़ रुपया की वित्तीय प्रबंधन की गई थी पिछले बजट में। इस बार इसको बढ़ा के 1,39,289 करोड़ 1,39,289 करोड़ की वित्तीय प्रबंधन किया गया है, जो पिछले बार की तुलना में 8.27% ज्यादा है। यही विषय दर्शाती है सरकार की शिक्षा के प्रति प्राथमिकता।
MSME के लिए भारत सरकार का ये बजट जो है एक बहुत अच्छा बजट है और इस दृष्टिकोण से बजट है कि हम 2030 में संसार का तीसरा आर्थिक व्यवस्था बनना चाहते हैं और फिर 2047 में संसार का अग्रिम विकसित राष्ट्र बनने के लिए में है। उसमें MSME का योगदान बहुत है, इसलिए MSME पर इतना कार्यक्रम किया गया है।
And the reactions. Here's what the opposition has had to say on the budget. They've called it visionless, they've called it directionless, and said that it misses out on specifics. Here are some of those reactions.
इसमें कुछ नहीं है। इन्फ्लेशन कंट्रोल करने के लिए भी इनका कोई समाधान, सकारात्मक कोई सलाह या कोई कदम उन्होंने नहीं दिखा।
हम जो इंतजार कर रहे थे मेरे केरला में हम कुछ नहीं सुन पाए। एक टर्टल ट्रेल के बारे में सुना, उसके अलावा और रेयर अर्थ्स मैं भी कुछ समय से कह रहा था, लेकिन उसके अलावा केरला के लिए कुछ नहीं सुनाई दिया। एक ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंस 15 साल से इंतजार कर रहे हैं, कोई अनाउंसमेंट नहीं।
What they said about 3 corridor, that is absolutely a garbage of lies, blatant lies. It is already on process. They have not given a single paisa to Bengal. Only one tax is there, GST. They are taking away our money and saying big talk. They are giving us money. It is our money.
बीजेपी से कोई उम्मीद मत करिए। कुछ लोगों को लाभ पहुंचाने के लिए बीजेपी काम करती है। बजट पहले से तय होता है किसको लाभ पहुंचाना है। आम लोगों की समझ के बाहर है। किसान, गरीब, गांव में रहने वाले लोगों के समझ के बाहर है।
There's nothing actually concrete in this budget, and even with the elections in mind, they have not announced anything for Tamil Nadu. They're not giving us anything, but then they want to, mine rare earth from Tamil Nadu, and it's a very, very disappointing budget.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about what's in it for poll-bound states, what's been announced. Well, there was definitely a whole lot of symbolism when Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stepped out this morning in her Union Budget 2026 look. It was, of course, a stunner, hand-woven Kanjivaram silk from Tamil Nadu in maroon purple with golden checks and a brown border. It's also importantly messaging because we are in the run-up to an election in Tamil Nadu. I'm leaving you with this report of all of Nirmala Sitharaman's past looks and this one.
Finance Minister presented this year's Union Budget with a sartorial style that she has carefully crafted over the years. In her 2026 presentation, Nirmala Sitharaman wore a hand-woven Kanjivaram silk sari from Tamil Nadu. continuing her strategy of showcasing traditional Indian handloom weaves on Budget Day. The maroon-purple sari with subtle golden checks and a brown border reminded us of the craftsmanship and heritage associated with Kanjivaram silk. Finance Minister's visual communication via the language of saris is not new. Since taking charge in 2019, the Finance Minister has donned significant statement-making handloom saris each year while presenting the Union budget. In her debut, Sitharaman made a statement with a bright pink Mangalgiri silk sari with a gold border. She also ditched tradition and opted for a traditional bahikhata to wrap the budget papers in place of a briefcase. She did not follow the trend. She created a few of her own. In the pandemic year of 2020, Finance Minister chose a crisp gold silk sari. The bright color, which signifies prosperity and abundance, was sending out a subtle message as well. In 2021, Sitharaman wrapped a red and off-white silk Pochampalli sari with ikat patterns from Telangana. While presenting the budget in 2022, the Finance Minister wore a rust and maroon handloom Bomkai weave with silver threadwork in the border. Bomkai saris are a geographical indication or GI tagged handloom treasure from Odisha's Ganjam district. In 2023, the Finance Minister was seen in a red Ilkal silk sari with Navalgunda embroidery on it. The sari from Dharwad in Karnataka is a South Indian gem. The sari had peacock, lotus, chariot and Gopuram motifs embroidered on it. In 2024, she presented the interim budget on February 1st. She wore a blue tussar silk sari with Katha embroidery from West Bengal. Katha stitch embroidery is a traditional hand embroidery style known for its detailed thread work and nature-inspired motifs. On July 23, 2024, Nirmala Sitharaman created history as she became the first to present 7 budgets in a row, 6 annual budgets and 1 interim. Only former Prime Minister Morarji Desai had been able to come close to this feat. He had presented 6 union budgets. She marked this occasion by wearing off-white Mangalgiri weave from Andhra Pradesh. The budget speech also included support for Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, including infrastructure and development commitments. Then came the hand-painted treasure of 2025. Finance Minister's attire to present the union budget was an off-white handloom silk sari with a tribute to Bihar's Madhubani art. Dulari Devi, a Padma awardee, made this sari. By wearing a Madhubani sari, Sitharaman showcased the crafts of Bihar, also emphasized the value of promoting products with a GI tag, which serves as both an economic asset and a cultural preservation tool. Sartorial symbolism or sari diplomacy. However you look at it, Finance Minister proves in politics you can send a message in a million ways. Bureau Report, India Today.